Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this video I want to talk about, yes, that topic again, coronavirus, and some of the things you should consider doing so as to protect yourself a little bit better. We've talked before about how to boost your immune system and how that makes a big difference. Look, this isn't just about coronavirus. Being healthy, boosting your immune system, just staying in good shape physically and looking after yourself, your diet, all of this matters, not just because of coronavirus. It's maybe the most important thing you can do so as to improve your survival and preparedness and your quality of life in general, okay? Especially now, yes, it is particularly important given everything going on, and it's about prevention. If you can avoid getting sick at all, or if you can improve the way you deal with the disease if you end up getting sick, that is fantastic. And again, it has a number of benefits besides just the virus. So in terms of boosting your immune system, we've talked before, and you probably heard it on the news, although not nearly enough as it should have been insisted on. You want to get enough sleep, you want to get enough rest, you want to have a nice balanced diet, you want to avoid alcohol and smoking. All of this will boost your immune system significantly. Also, lowering your stress levels, not getting upset, laughing more. Sounds silly, but it makes a huge difference in how your body responds to these threats and how it deals with all of that. If you're stressed, if you're getting upset, man, it makes a big difference on how you deal with a number of diseases. Also regarding vitamins, minerals, you want to have your vitamin D, your vitamin C, your vitamin D, and your zinc. Now here you see that I have vitamin C and zinc only. Why is that? Well, first of all, vitamin C is one of those things that, yes, it has a number of benefits. You see different studies. Some say that it's not really all that much. Others are a lot stronger in their support for the idea of having a good amount of vitamin C. I think that based on everything I've read, and especially over the years, how much it has been proven that vitamin C does indeed have several benefits, and it's something I decide I want to have in my diet. Zinc would be something you definitely need as well, especially so as to deal with infections. Zinc is something you may want to have in your supplements, but not in the same doses as vitamin C. And here's where it gets a little bit more interesting. For example, if you get double, triple, 5 times the daily recommended intake of vitamin C, that's going to be perfectly fine. Vitamin C is one of those things that you can overdo it to some extent without getting dangerous. In fact, this one has going back here, it has 1,000%, 1,250% of the recommended daily intake. Now, when it comes to zinc, it only has 100. Why is that? Well, because although everything can be dangerous and even lethal when you have too much of it, and I'm talking about even water can be lethal for you. There's people that have died because of drinking too much water in a rather awful manner. So yes, you can actually research that and see what it happens. It's not pretty, but my point is even water can kill you if you're stupid enough. Vitamin C, you can have your vitamin and you can drink lots of orange juice and lemonade and all that stuff, natural sources, and you're likely to be okay unless you really overdo it, like taking 5 of these or whatever. So that's in terms of vitamin Z. In terms of zinc, the thing is most people likely in their diet don't have a nexus of zinc, and there's a chance that many people have a deficiency of zinc. There's an estimated 2 billion people that have a deficiency of zinc in their diet. So that's maybe something you want to supplement a little bit based on your diet. For example, oysters. How much oysters do you eat a day? Well, that's the largest natural source of zinc. Seafood, red meats as well. If you eat lots of poultry, red meat, those two will have zinc as well, although not in the same amount. But if you're not eating a huge amount of that every single day, you may want to have a supplement with zinc. All right. If not, then make your own decisions. If you're eating oysters all day long, maybe you don't need this. If you're eating seafood all day long, same thing. But this is a little bit more reasonable, especially you're covering any holes you may have in your diet. Now, when it comes to vitamin D, this is very interesting, and I've learned this several years ago already with my kids and the pediatricians. For my first son, one of the pediatricians we had recommended, vitamins and minerals for kids. And later on, we learned that that may not be that much of a good idea when it comes to vitamin D. Why is that? Well, because an excess of vitamin D has a number of potential problems in your liver, and it's something you just want to avoid, to have too much vitamin D. Now, the beauty is that vitamin D you can make your own by being exposed to sunshine. If you take a reasonable amount of sunlight intake every day, you will make your own vitamin D. Your body makes your own vitamin D. What is it, like 15-30 minutes for if you're fair skinned? That's likely gonna be enough. And there's no way of getting an overdoses of vitamin D through a natural process like sunlight. Yes, you don't want to get too much sunlight, because yes, there is the possibility of skin cancer. That's something you want to avoid. But again, be smart about it. If you live in a very sunny place, maybe go like 4 or 5 p.m. and just half an hour, strolling around, going for a walk. Avoid any long sleeves so as to get a good amount of sun, and that's going to be it. And it has a bunch of other benefits as well. So I don't see really the point on getting vitamin D when you can do it naturally in the perfect doses for you. Having said that, there is a difference depending on your skin color. If you are of a darker skin, the darker you are, the more sunshine you will need so as to metabolize and make your own vitamin D. That's because of pure simple evolution. If your skin is a lot darker, it's maybe because your ancestors lived in very sunny places, maybe even deserts, and they were getting sunshine all day long, and their darker skin is protecting them from that excess of sunlight. Now, in the same manner, people that lived in northern parts of the European continent and were exposed to a lot less sunshine, then you would develop a more of a white skin so as to absorb a lot more of that sun which you needed so as to make your own vitamin D and have a bunch of other benefits, because you basically need sun in spite of too much of it, yes, being bad for you. So what ends up happening is, today in our modern world, we don't live like in the middle of in Finland, where you don't have any sunshine at all during a large part of the year, and you don't have people stuck in the middle of a desert. We just live our modern lives, and you likely spend most of your day locked in a cubicle in an office, or today working from home. Whatever that's the case, if your skin is darker, then consider getting a little bit more exposure to sunlight, or getting a supplement with vitamin D, because you're likely to need that. Studies are showing clearly that black people are getting sick more often with coronavirus, and they're getting sick in a worse manner. And it's attributed by many studies to this lack of vitamin D, a deficiency of vitamin D because of the modern lifestyle that people have, and the skin in which they're not getting enough of it, thanks to that minimal amount of exposure to sun because of the way people live these days. Keep that in mind. Make your own decisions. Be smart about it. Regarding making your own decisions and being smart about it, be smart about this as well. This is more about compliance. This is really more about actual protection. No, I'm no government shill like I've been accused in the past. This is stuff that I wrote last year in my book, Street Survival Skills, which is the one I have. But in this case, it's just working so as to prove my point that I've been saying this all along. When I explained page 2031, before there was anything like coronavirus, I explained that when it comes to pandemics, also protect your face with a respirator and eyewear. Asians aren't shy about using surgical masks and respirators when necessary, and neither should you. A collapsible respirator folds flat and is easy to carry in a purse or backpack. And this is a collapsible N95 respirator. In my case, I use the FFP3s, which would be similar to an N99, so it's even better than an N95. Now, this is no N95. This is basically a surgical mask which has a minimal amount of protection. And this nonsense about catching the virus here and protecting our people, that is stupid, and is so minimal the amount of difference it makes. It's just about compliance and little else. But again, be smart about it. Does this protect to some degree? Yes. What is it, like 40% chance, 50% chance of not catching the virus? Man, if you're going to be stuck indoors with a bunch of people that may be sick, 50% kind of sucks. Now, when you get an actual mask, the number goes up exponentially, and if you follow proper protocol, you're not going to be catching the virus when wearing something like this. And even something like this with a proper P3 filter, that's almost like a HEPA P99 N99 filter or N100 filter. This is gonna be almost giving you a 99% chance of not getting the disease through your respiratory system, especially because of how well this seals. If you have a proper fit and you have the proper filters, you're pretty much covered in terms of avoiding the disease. But my point here is be smart about it. Don't just go for compliance using something you're told to use. Use your head and make your own decisions. And the way I go about it, for example, is if I'm forced to use something that I don't feel is necessary, then I will use this. Right? It's just, I know how good and bad this is. Now, if I'm really going to be in a place where I feel there's an increased chance of getting sick, of catching the virus, then I'm going to be wearing actual protection. Right? If I'm going to be indoors where there's a bunch of people that I don't know of and they may well be infected, then this is what I want to have, because I do believe that there's an increased chance. And now studies are more than showing that this is the case. You catch this disease through air. It's floating in the atmosphere, indoors, people breathing and exhaling, and you catch the disease like that. This really provides protection. This does not. So be smart about it. This is going to be more than good enough. Yes, this is going to be even better. A proper MBC mask, sure. But, you know, especially for how much this costs, get yourself a nice 3M mask and get yourself proper filters for it. You want to get the P3s or N99, N100s, or at the very least, the one that's recommended by the CDC, your N95s, right? Get those and use those when you know there's a chance of you getting sick and you want to avoid that. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Take care, be smart, make your own minds, make your own, look after yourself. See you in our next video. Have an awesome day.